Great. So, hi everyone. My name is Stephanie Shapiro. I'm the managing director at Environment and Culture Partners, working with Sarah Sutton. We help to kind of administer and do some management with the Frankenthaler Climate Initiative, part of the Helen Frankenthaler Foundation. We also work with RMI. We've been replying to a lot of emails, have spoken to some of you before, I see you, Kirsten, a few of you in person. Welcome and thank you again for joining so we can talk about kind of our updated timeline and kind of information and requirements on the reporting part for the Frankenthaler Climate Initiative grants, knowing that we've kind of moved the entire process to using Flux. For 22 grantees, you used Flux to submit your application. 2021, you might have been used Flux in other instances of using or submitting grants. So this might be a familiar system to you, but just wanted to let everyone know that. So just to give a quick overview, so really the goal of this reporting is to be able to establish and reinforce your ability to monitor and benchmark your energy usage at your building or across your campus in order for you to make more data-driven decisions about energy. So we have other projects, and within this project, we know that once you've collected this data, you're really able to look at it kind of year over year to see, what your progress might be. And that'll enable you to figure out maybe what a next phase is or areas that you should be focusing on for investing in your site. So our report, so we've made a few adjustments here. So we have a 12-month baseline report, which we're asking you to run kind of at a time prior to your project start. We have an optional project completion report. We love hearing how your projects are going. We want to hear your completion. If you have press releases, maybe you have, a design that's come out of it. We love to hear about your projects. Please let us know. And so this report is optional. We've removed the 6-month post-completion report, just trying to simplify and streamline how we're doing this. So really, there's the 12 and 24-month post-project completion reports are the ones that we're looking for. And we'll get into what goes into these reports in a little bit. So the content, so there's an energy management piece and a narrative portion. We're looking at using Energy Star Portfolio Manager with Sarah Sutton is going to take us through in a minute to be able to document kind of that energy usage at your site. A short narrative part, just what maybe went into it. If you're building a new building, maybe some information about the context. Maybe there's weather that's impacting how your energy is being used. Also, just other general information about the project that you're excited to share. We're not looking at this. This is not supposed to be an impediment. This is really just we're interested in hearing it. We have been using a lot of the report information we've received, to identify folks for conferences, sharing information, creating videos, etc. So, this is how we know kind of the progress of your project and how we also are able to come back to you to share with the sector about what your work is doing, what the impact of your work is. So this is our timeline. Again, this is just a visual of kind of what I just went over of this baseline. And so one thing I want to note is we know with the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of buildings have been maybe out of use, shut down, repurposed. And so if you're able to find just 12 months of continuous data, we are not going to be publicly reporting right now, what your institution is doing. We just, want to be able to just look at the data internally to say, are there changes? Is there an impact of, after a year, your project is completed, 2 years, with the caveat that baseline might not be consecutive and that 29 most of 2020 to even sometimes now your building might be in a different spot than kind of business as usual. So for all of the reports, we've got a 3-month buffer period. when you're in the system, that buffer period is kind of what that due date is. So if your project ends December 31st, you've got 3 months. We know that sometimes it takes a while to get those bills in, gather that data, for that consecutive year. So want to be able to give you some buffer time. As always, if you need additional information or time, we really encourage you to reach out to us. This is, just so we're able to put reminders, automatic reminders in the system. We have tried to organize it as best as we can. If you, again, need more than 3 months, we're happy to work with you. Just please let us know. So again, this timeline, this is all of this information again is available on the Frankenthaler Climate Initiative website, and in a big document that we've put together for instructions as well. But this really helps you just kind of line out where the start date is, the report end date is, and when the due dates are. So I'm going to hand it over to Sarah. She's going to walk us through the Energy Star Portfolio Manager aspect of the reporting. And if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll also be taking questions at the end.
There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for applying for our Helen Frankenthaler Climate Initiative grant. You're part of a special group. I hope that you'll celebrate that for a moment, that we're doing something new here, and we're doing good work, and we're sharing it in a way that I think is going to be extremely valuable for the sector. That fact that it's new work means that it's been a little complicated as we sorted out the best way for us to ask you to do some reporting, try not to burden you too much, but still create some sort of information resource for us to understand how to improve the program and understand its impacts. So what I'm showing you is how to do reporting through Energy Star Portfolio Manager. It's not necessarily how to put all your data in. I'll tell you about that in a moment, but I'm going to focus today on doing the reporting. The reason we're using Energy Star Portfolio Manager is because it's free, already exists, and it's a widely used resource that we believe through our own research and efforts is going to be increasingly important to the cultural sector, and you're getting a head start using it. Some of you already used it coming into the program, and others of you are learning it. I want you to recognize that it's okay to still be learning it, and we really are trying to be as helpful as we can in getting you used to it. So I'm at the Portfolio Manager, EnergyStar.gov website. I have set up my username and password so that I have an account. And what you're looking at here is Sarah Sutton's list of organizations where she has museum connections. You probably won't have this long list. You just might have your own one on there. Don't worry about that. So for my reporting process, I'm going to report on one of those. I'm going to report, whoops, probably have to choose that first. So I'm going to work on Sarah's favorite museum, and I'm going to run my report on it. All you do to run the report is to go over here and see the designs that are already prepared, and we're going to choose Progress and Goals Report. When I click on that, it says, which one are you interested in? I choose that one. I'm interested in the current year, but I could set any set of dates. Click Generate and Download Report, and this is the item that you're going to save to your desktop and then upload to Energy Star Portfolio Manager in the report link. You can see that
Upload to Flux.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for that, catching that. You see it shows my baseline data for that original 12-month period I put in, and then the percent change over time. The reason mine happens to be green is because this actually is my house, not my museum, and I installed solar panels. So it's reducing those impacts already by having the solar panels online. But so that's it for establishing your Energy Star Progress and Goals report.
And if
And
Sarah, if you don't mind scrolling down just a little bit, the two main data points that we're asking you to enter are the site EUI and the total greenhouse gas emissions. So those two values we're asking you to input as well as upload this report. There's instructions in Energy Star Portfolio Manager. There's links training for kind of that gathering of the information that goes into creating these reports, which is gathering your energy bills. So again, trying to give everyone the amount of time that they need to figure out where those bills are coming from, taking the time to enter that information. It might not be you who is doing that work. We understand that as well. So trying to work with you on it. But energy is really the only piece. There's water and waste as well in Energy Star Portfolio Manager, but for Frankenthaler Climate Initiative, we're really only looking at energy.
And for those of you who are still working on figuring out how to log data or training new staff in logging energy data, we have a parallel project going on right now called the Carbon Inventory Project. And I'll put this link in the chat in a moment, where we actually have on the 15th an Energy Star Portfolio Manager training session. And every month between now and in the springtime, there are office hours with the New Buildings Institute team and us on how to do that energy data entry. All right, I'll stop sharing and I'll put that link to the Carbon Inventory Project in the chat.
Great, thank you. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at the Flux portal. Let's see. A little larger. So this is the main entry point to the Helen Frankenthaler Foundation grants portal. Again, a lot of the instructions we're going to go over today are in the instructions as well. So there's kind of three different ways, types of users right now that we have. So some of you from 2022 have already entered and submitted your application and already have an account to access the portal. This is where you're going to log in. If you've forgotten your password, you can click reset and it'll email you a link to reset your password. For those that have received the email that I sent out and that you're here for this webinar, you have a account that has been created for you in the portal. So what you need to do is put your email address in here and also click reset or create password. That will prompt your link to go to your email to create the password for you to log in. For those of you who need to create a new account, maybe you were forwarded this email, maybe you have another staff person that you're delegating to be responsible for submitting this report or even part of the report, you need to come over here and click here to create a new user account. And there's a bunch of fields that you'll fill out with organization information as well as your professional information. We will receive that on the back end and need to actually do a manual connection to have that match up to your organization. So we're trying to do that on a daily basis. But if you submit it, on a Friday afternoon, we might not be getting to it either, maybe back on Monday or even potentially Tuesday morning. So you're not going to immediately create, it will not create immediately the credentials to then log in. So once you log in, use this one, you'll be logged into your organization's account. And so over here on the left side, we have kind of these different areas of information. Your grants are going to show up as active. So active grants are those that have not submitted a baseline. Pending post-completion reports are grants that have submitted a baseline, and we are just awaiting kind of any post-completion reports. Some of you who have received a 2021 and 2022 grant, you will end up having one probably in pending post-completion and one in active if you haven't submitted that baseline for 2022 yet. this is really the area that we're going to focus on, and this is the reports. So in the reports due section, you'll be able to see all of the reports that you have due. The caveat is for 2021 folks, we do not have an end date for a lot of the projects. We just weren't able to collect all of that information from the applications in some cases that were initially submitted. So if you do not see kind of your post-completion reports, this is why. Everyone does have a baseline report that's due though. So what we are asking is for those 2021 folks, if you don't see kind of your post-completion reports, please let us know. We will update in the system your project end date, and this will automatically schedule out your post-completion reports in addition to your optional project completion report. For 2022 folks, these should be populating. If they have not yet, they will. But right now, all baselines are available for users. So this is what the project completion report looks like for all of them. What you need to do to submit information is click on the one that you would like to submit information for. So this is the 24-month one. All of them, to edit them, you need to click edit, which is in the top right-hand corner. It's not the most, I think, coherent place to have the edit button, but that's where the system has it. But you need to click edit, and then you can enter your narrative information, any anecdotal comments, enter in that 24-month site EUI and greenhouse gas emission values. We're also asking for 24-month if you have any kind of total emissions reduced or data that you're interested in sharing about kind of overall impact from the project. We would love to hear about that as well. And then in terms of documents, if you would rather submit, a Word document instead of typing into the narrative section, you're welcome to attach that here. This is also where that Energy Star Portfolio Manager report will go. If there's any other kind of collateral that you're interested in sharing with us, you're able to just click the plus button and you'll be able to upload those files. So once you've finished submitting your report, you can click save and close. If you do need to come back and edit it, just click save and you'll be able to come back and edit it. And then you'll need to submit it. So after you've entered everything, maybe multiple people need to, someone's submitting the report, someone needs to put the energy data. You can click submit. This will then show up in your submitted reports area. And this is now going to be with us on our side. So if you realize you've uploaded the wrong document or something is wrong, just email us. We can kick it back to you, and then you'll be able to edit it and move forward. But that's it. So these reports, again, really not trying to be a impediment, but really trying to make these kind of more habit forming, and they're really informative to us on the kind of grants management side for information and being able to touch base with those who have projects that we could integrate into other areas of kind of information sharing. So that's it for using Flux system here. I'm going to stop sharing and go back to the slides, but I'm going to check this. Let's see if anyone has any questions on that. I'm happy to answer those before we move on to a few more items.
I have a question about the date ranges we should be inputting to get those greenhouse gas emissions. So for 12 months post-project, I'm imagining it's project end date through 12 months post, but that is 24 months then supposed to be capturing a full 2 years worth of data following the completion of the project, or should it be just capturing the most recent data, but it's a 24-month? Is it capturing a year's worth of data, but it's it's a 24-month report capturing like months 12 through 24 essentially?
Right. It's just 24 months. Yep. It's just capturing those secondary 24 months. Sorry, let me put this in presenter mode. Yep. And it's just 20.
So it should capture a full 2 years worth of emissions data, right?
Right. At the 2024 report, sorry, the 24-month one will just be the second 24 or
Second
second
12.
12 months,
Second-
Okay,
sorry.
so it's also
Yep.
just 12. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I feel
Yeah.
like it's gonna give some really wild data for capturing 2 years for one report. Okay, great.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yes, the 12-month report is the project end date to 12 months. The 24-month is the that 12-month period to 24.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Sorry, could not articulate that.
Stephanie, we might want to provide the reminder that if you get an error message of data missing, it is often that there is a gap between the meter information entered for your baseline and where you're now assessing. This has to be a continuous data entry process from your baseline year. And the reason that's valuable is it creates the habit of recording the information, but it also gives you the information to review, monitor, and then make some management choices. So you will need from the beginning of your baseline all the way through to sustain putting in that information.
Yes. Any other questions?
Hi, I've got a quick question.
Sure.
So my organization, Henry Art Gallery, we received a technical assistance grant, which is really designed for setting up the eventual implementation of upgrading all of our lighting to LED lighting. So at the end of this grant, we're not really going to have a change in our emissions. Is there any different reporting that you're expecting, or what kind of reporting will you be expecting for that?
It'll be the same. I think the idea here is to really start that habit building of energy reporting. If there's no change, there's no change. And that, we understand that for scoping and technical assistance, it's different than implementation, right? You're not installing the PVs, you're assessing, you're looking at it. So same reporting, really just trying to, again, create that habit of energy benchmarking and, looking forward to hear what, comes out of the project on the narrative side.
Great, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Helmut has a hand.
Yeah,
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure that I understood Sarah correctly. We're to start our baseline year. Our baseline years and our report years have to be aligned. In other words, the dates are continuous from one year to the other so that we don't get an error message. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, yes. And so there are the two caveats. One, it has to be continuous, but also you have to choose a 12-month period that you feel makes sense for you. And so for some people, that's earlier and they have more data entry. For other people, it's closer right up the 12 months before the gift was made.
Hi, thank you for providing this webinar. I have a question. I don't remember seeing before anything about greenhouse gas emissions. Is it possible? I think my organization was a 2021 recipient. Is it possible that I haven't heard about this before, or am I just really missing the boat on something? I don't feel like we've been collecting that data.
Yeah, it's probably been in your readout, but not recorded in the same way in Flux because Flux was added afterwards. So you are not dinged for that. It is sort of an evolution.
Okay, so we don't have to gather greenhouse gas emissions data, is that correct?
You do going forward. We're just not making you retroactively go back and search for that from your original baseline. We could do it, and we might find that we're going to have a new staff or an internship project work back on some of that information for folks from 2021, but we're not making you go chase that right now. But from now going forward, when you run that goals and progress report, it'll be right there for you.
Okay, it's already there, so I don't need to find anything else to source the data from. It'll just be on the report. Got it. Okay, thank you so much.
Are there any other questions? Okay, well, the last thing we just wanted to share was the third year of the Frankenthaler Climate Initiative is going to be launching in mid-February. So we're going to be posting more information. There's already kind of a timeline on the website, but we will be updating any information on there and providing the link in mid-February. So if you have, a different project that you're interested in, or we would definitely encourage you to apply. We are asking that if you've already received, say, a technical assistance grant for one thing, that if you apply again for technical assistance, that it's for a different project. For example, even for implementation, if you've applied and received a grant for installing PVs, we're asking you can definitely submit another implementation grant, but not for a PV, but for something else. Maybe replacing LEDs in a gallery. So different project, but you can definitely be a repeat applicant, across the different options.
And for those of you who are in sort of that sequence of scoping to technical assistance or technical assistance to implementation, an application that responds to discoveries based on Frankenthaler support is a good, strong application. So the same project progressing through the categories is appropriate.
Great. Well, that's all that we had for today. So what we would say for action items are we'll be posting this video, but also to review the instructions, creating, if you haven't already, an Energy Star portfolio manager account, and beginning to gather that information. So if you haven't submitted a baseline for our 2022 folks, we're hoping to get those in the February area. Again, knowing that December is almost over. If you need more time, that's fine. Just let us know. For our 2021 folks, we are missing some baselines. I do see this question here, but we are encouraging you, if you are able to submit that baseline, we would appreciate it. And if we want to make sure everyone is up to date as possible on their reports, and then yes, that will make you eligible for the third year of grants. So if you have questions in particular about your institution and what you've submitted, please let us know. And that's it. We're happy to answer questions for the next few minutes, and we'll hang on. But that's all the material that we had prepared for everyone. So thank you again for joining. And I do want to echo Sarah, thank you for your patience as we've moved into using the software for Flux and kind of updating and changing how we're doing this. So we are learning together on this, and we are trying to be as supportive as possible. We are happy to answer more questions, spend time with you individually as well to move forward. And great. Thank you for attending. Have a great rest of the day.